Hey y'all, so quick little project here. I have the hanging baskets that I need to get done. So I have decided this year to go with Pentas and Dichondra Silver Falls. So something that never changes for my baskets is Dichondra Silver Falls. It's a great trailer. I love the blue. It's drought tolerant. It does really well for me here in hanging baskets. In our previous house, I typically used Sun Patience. And while I love Sun Patience, they require a lot of water, and in a hanging basket situation, it was just a little more difficult. So I've also used Martha Washington geraniums. If you followed along for a little while, you probably remember those from last year. However, I thought I would try them and try an option that needed to be deadheaded. I didn't particularly find that very fun. So I've decided to go the non-deadhead route this year and go with Pentas. And I know that they will need a little bit more water than the Martha Washington geraniums, but I'm gonna give them a shot because you just never know unless you try. So we're gonna give these lavender Pentas a shot with the Dichondra Silver Falls and see how they do. I initially wanted some purple lantana, but I couldn't find a solid purple lantana around town. So I decided to go with the Pentas because I needed to get them in the hanging baskets so that they can start getting established prior to it getting really hot. So let me just flip around my camera and I'll show you what I got. All right, so this is what we're working with. So these baskets right here are pretty large. They're 20 inches across. So it's a little bit hard to find cocoa liners, and I switch them out in the spring and in the fall. So I've been trying to find some cheap alternatives, and these are 36 by 36 rolls. And I got these last year at Joann's Fabric, and they're always on sale. So they're not $19.99. I've the last 2 years, I've got them on sale for $9.99 a piece, and then Joann's will have a 20% off coupon. So you can get them pretty cheap. That is the cheapest that I've found them. Our local garden center has pre-cut circular ones, but they're much more expensive than this. So if you're looking for some pretty large cocoa liners and you're looking for a cheaper option, maybe check Joann's Fabric out and check out this brand. So those are the liners that I'll be using, and I'll have to cut those to size. And then, as always, the Dichondra Silver Falls. I had a hard time finding some bigger ones this year. So these are the best looking ones that I could find, but they are fast growers and they will start trailing in no time. So sun or partial sun. You can see here if I can get my camera to focus. Keep soil relatively dry. Water only when surface feels dry to the touch. I do ignore the spacing recommendations as I do with most plants. So this is something that's really easy. By the end of the summer, this is typically trailing all the way to the ground. And I've had success with it in pots, trailing over the pots and growing into the ground. And it successfully overwinters and comes back. So let's see here. The Pentas here, I really like this pinkish purple color. Graffiti violet, and let me see if it will give the full sun and grows 8 to 10 inches tall. So these won't get massive, but I think they'll fill out the centerpiece of these baskets nicely. So I'm just going to set my camera up and we'll get started. These baskets hold a lot of soil, so what I'll do is I will get the cocoa liners in, get them cut to size. Let me back up. I will get the cocoa liners in. I will put the soil in there with the cocoa liners in so that it will kind of weigh down the cocoa liner to fill out the basket really nicely. I will cut a little bit above the rim of this basket so that over time this cocoa liner will start to break down and it will kind of start to sink in. And what you don't want is your cocoa liner below this level right here, and then water just pours out of it. So I cut my cocoa liner about a ½ inch or so above this top lip and then allow it to settle over time. These baskets, when they're wet, are extremely heavy. So we'll get the cocoa liner in, the soil, all of the plants, hang them up, and then get them watered. And in another video, I will show you how we hook up our drip. So there's a number of ways to do it. We got some new drip emitters this year. Alex installed them for us here in the back when he completely redid the sprinkler system. So I'll be able to test those out and see how those work compared to what we had in our previous backyard. So I'm really excited about that because I think we'll get a lot more pressure coming from these emitters that are intended to be dripped up to 1/4 inch tubing. And I still need to get some new emitters also for the baskets themselves. There are specific ones I like. So anyways, we'll show you all of that in a next video, but wanted to get all of this stuff planted. So let's just get started. All right, and here is a look at that lip. Again, when these get watered in, they will sink a little bit. So I just want to make sure that I still have just a little bit of a cocoa liner lip once. Let me actually get this a little closer. Once this is all filled in, because you can see it's kind of not all the way in the bottom yet. I pushed it in pretty tight, but it will still settle quite a bit. So this lip will keep your water from draining off the sides. Do yourself a favor and get yourself a better set of scissors than what I'm using right now. Also, some people will put like a plastic bag in the bottom of these with drain holes in it, with holes just poked throughout so that the water can drain. I prefer not to do that just because ours are hooked up to drip, so they're really not that much trouble. If I water them, it's just, you know, maybe once or twice a week when it's really hot, because we do have fescue in the backyard, so we will be watering a decent amount for the lawn, and the drip emitters are hooked up to the same zones that water the lawn and the flower bed. So if I was super concerned with having to come out and hand water them every day, I would definitely put some sort of plastic liner in the bottom to help retain some moisture. But for this instance, it's not necessary. And I'm going to go 3 pentas in the center and 4 dichondra on the edges. 4 dichondra is probably overkill. Honestly, most of the plants in here are probably a little bit overkill. I just like to pack it full because I like it to be bigger quicker. So that's just my preference, but you could definitely get by with less plants in a basket this size. All right, and the first one is done. That's all there is to it. I do like to top dress these baskets with mulch, and I will go back and do that before we get them hung. But by the end of the summer, this will be filled out, and the dichondra will be probably almost to the ground. So I'm gonna speed this process up because I've got 5 more to do. The process is going to be the exact same on the next 5. All right, so I have the last 2 pots, hanging baskets to water, but I wanted to do a quick bee update. So there they are. I did my first hive inspection on Sunday. I went foundationless on the frames. I'm feeding them 1-to-1 sugar water in a top feeder underneath the roof, and they are drawing out the perfect comb inside. 4 of the 10 frames have straight comb built, and I'm really, really excited. I also saw the queen, so I feel a lot better about that. And they're still really docile, and I find myself out here watching them quite a bit. I definitely love the bees, and so a lot of people say that you really need 2 hives, and a lot of the beekeepers locally that I've spoken to have said the same thing. However, I just wanted to make sure before investing in 2 hives and 2 packages of bees that I truly would enjoy it. And I really just find myself out here watering my seeds and just watching them. So I would say if you are considering beekeeping, go for it. Here are some seedling updates. This is some purple alyssum right here. You can see starting to germinate. I have some nasturtium. You can see that one right there. It's starting to germinate as well. Here, some right here. This is Monarda, aka bee balm. So I do not see any germination on these at all. This is something that was supposed to be cold stratified, and I chose not to cold stratify it just to experiment and see what I got. This is a Cosmo, and I have a lot of probably self-seeded Cosmos and zinnias from last year. These Cosmos are really taking off. I'll be getting ready to top these pretty shortly, probably. This Cosmo over here is the Radiance Cosmo, and I didn't get a ton of great germination out of these. They're still starting to germinate a little bit. You can see that one right there, and then this one, and there's one right here that's a little farther behind, but I'm kind of disappointed with the germination in the Radiance. And then this one is the Purity, which is a really pretty white Cosmo. And then the Amaranthus, I'm starting to get some germination here, but it's really spotty. I wouldn't say the germination is great on those. And also those seeds were tiny, so the wind definitely could have blown them away. Again, some more Amaranthus here, but again, spotty germination. This is the Summer Carnival Hollyhock. I have a good percentage of germination on these guys. You can see here. Anyways, good germination there. All of the dahlias are up except for this one right here, which is the Ninakazi, which I was a little bit concerned with when I planted it, but it might be coming up right there. Can't quite tell yet. I did plant some more dahlias here. I just needed some color. The Clary Sage got some good germination going on here with the Clary Sage. You can kind of see them all throughout here. All of these Rogue Cosmos. So I planted Cosmos in this bed last year, so I expect quite a few self-seeded Cosmos to come up, and then I would expect some self-seeded zinnias to come up in this bed as well. The zinnias have pretty good germination. And then so far, my experiment with the purple coneflower. Tucker, get out of here, buddy. Come on. A lot of people have asked how I keep him out of the beds. So he just doesn't dig in these beds. I don't know. He usually doesn't come back here, honestly, unless we are back here, so I can keep an eye on him. But he really doesn't bother the beds at all. It's the squirrels that dig in them. But these are the purple coneflowers, and these, it's probably hard to tell from this video, these are coming up everywhere. These are supposed to be cold stratified. I did not do that because I wanted to experiment, because I had read some mixed reviews online about people having success not cold stratifying them. And while cold stratifying is not a big deal, I just didn't get around to it, so I opted to go for it and see what happened, and it's looking really good. So also yarrow, which is also supposed to be cold stratified. I don't have, this is an interesting one because I don't have much right here. This is feverfew that's self-seeded. I'm just going to let it go for it. But I don't have a lot here, and the yarrow seeds are tiny, but I do have a ton here. And there was a small ant bed that was over here, and I came out here a day after I had put these seeds down, and all of the ants were over here in this section taking the seeds to their nest. So I think maybe that's could be why I have a lot more germination over here than over here. But anyways, overall the germination is good. I can't wait for them to really put on some growth, and then I will be topping for sure the zinnias and the cosmos and probably some other varieties to ensure that I get stronger stalks and more blooms. So that is all that I have for you guys today. I'm going to get these other two baskets watered really quick. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye.